Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating story about how education is changing. We're looking at Bulgarian schools and how they're bringing STEAM, that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, to life in their classrooms. And honestly, it's kind of like a blueprint for the future of learning.
So let's start with the big question, right? The one that frames this whole explainer. How do you actually build the classroom of the future? It's a massive challenge for sure, but Bulgaria is coming up with some seriously powerful and practical answers that are absolutely worth paying attention to.
So, where does a success story like this even begin? Well, it's not with a few scattered projects here and there. Nope. This starts with a massive, coordinated national strategy. We're going to look at how Bulgaria took this bold vision for STEAM and started making it a real, tangible thing for students all over the country. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, look at this number. This isn't just a handful of pilot schools. We're talking about more than 2,000 schools being kitted out with modern STEM environments under a national program. That is a huge, foundational investment.
Now, what's so smart about their approach is this two-pillar strategy. On one side, you have the national program. Think of that as the hardware. It's the funding, the infrastructure, the physical classrooms. But on the other side, you have the National STEM Center, and that's the software. That's the human side of things. Teacher training, sharing what works, and making sure everyone's on the same page. You can't have one without the other.
Okay, so you've got the national plan and the shiny new equipment, but what does that actually feel like for a student? Let's zoom into the classroom and see how this big strategy actually sparks curiosity and comes to life for students at every single age. For the youngest kids, it is all about sparking that initial curiosity, making it feel more like play than work. So you've got initiatives like S-Tempo, which gives teachers ready-to-use lesson plans, so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. Then there's the Bookie platform with free interactive programs, and Robotics for Bulgaria, which gets kids hands-on with programming right from the start. It's all about building that fun, engaging foundation. As students get older, the focus shifts, naturally, toward real-world applications. Projects like Digital and STEAM World are all about training teachers to lead these cool interdisciplinary projects. And then you get these incredible initiatives like Space Challenges, which literally connect students with experts in the space industry, or TwoSfest, where students get to show off their own tech projects. It's all about bridging that gap between what you learn in school and what you can do in a career. Now, all of this sounds amazing, right? But it brings up one of the most important questions in education today. With all this focus on high-tech learning, how do we make absolutely sure that every single student, no matter what their learning needs are, can actually participate and thrive? And that brings us to this next section, which I have to say is truly groundbreaking. We're going to look at projects specifically designed to make STEAM accessible and inclusive for neurodivergent students and for those with special educational needs. It proves that this revolution in learning can and absolutely must be for everyone. And this just shows the incredible depth of thought involved. The RoboSteam for All project isn't just about handing out some robots. No way. It's a total redesign of the process. They start by adapting the entire teaching method to the specific cognitive and emotional needs of the kids. Then they bring in tools, robotics and digital stuff, that are specially adapted for accessibility. And crucially, they test and prove it all in real classrooms. That is deep, meaningful adaptation. And here's a real-world example of what that looks like. You've got specialized centers, like the one in Silistra, that have fully equipped labs with these adaptive tools, all designed to make sure that every student can jump in and engage with science and tech in a meaningful way. It's incredible to see. Okay, so we've looked at the national strategy, the classroom projects, and the amazing focus on inclusivity. Now, let's step back and pull it all together. What are the key takeaways here? What are the really good practices we can all learn from Bulgaria's journey? This table really distills the secret sauce, doesn't it? The magic seems to be this blend of a big national framework that offers support, but also gives schools the flexibility to do what works for them. They're making teacher-friendly resources that are actually easy to use, which is a huge barrier lifted for educators. They're collaborating internationally, they're rethinking inclusion from the ground up, and they are always tying it back to real-world problems. That last point is so important, it's worth digging into a little more. A massive driver of this success is the focus on school-industry partnerships. This means getting students out of the textbook and into real-world situations, working on actual challenges with professionals in the field. It makes learning so much more relevant and shows kids a clear path to their future careers.
So we've explored the what and the how of Bulgaria's STEAM success. But the story doesn't end here. Because the most important part of any educational movement is the community of teachers who bring it to life every single day. And that brings us to you. This is an open invitation. What amazing STEAM strategies and projects are working in your classroom? What good practices have you figured out? Let's hear them. Share them in the comments below. Let's use this space to build a community and learn from each other. Because ultimately, that is what this is all about. The whole goal of projects like STEAM Forward is to empower you, the teachers, to inspire that next generation. It's about using an inclusive, engaging approach to open up the possibility of a career in STEAM to every single child, creating the innovators and problem solvers of tomorrow.